Hello, Internet. Cosplay Misfits here. I'm Havoc.
Sayori.
Oh no.
And this is a very spoiler-heavy video today because we're talking about Infinity War! So, spoilers. We will be talking about them.
Spoiler alert.
Starting now.
Okay, so just going to get the death list out of the way. Cut out now if you don't want to know. Okay, so as it goes, Heimdall, Loki, Gamora, Vision, Bucky, T'Challa, Wanda, Sam, Groot, half of Wakanda's population, Mantis, Drax, Quill, Doctor Strange, and Peter Parker, and then half of the Earth's population. Okay, so now you know. Yeah, so now you know who dies. Now we can get on with the rest of the movie.
Everyone you love.
Oh, who is alive in this movie? Red Skull. He's back. For very briefly.
He's more alive than actually either of us right now. I'm doing a tribute to Gamora.
I'm doing Scarlet Witch.
Certainly a surprise. I was surprised by it. I was like, oh hey, you're still alive.
That was kind of collectively the reaction. The others are all like, what?
I spend a lot of time on the internet, and it was from what I had been reading a pretty common thought that because he was eaten by the Tesseract back in the first Avenger, that it was likely that he wasn't dead and might make an appearance.
Remembering what the Tesseract did, it didn't necessarily kill people, just transport to different dimensions and planets. It's a Dementor. It's death. It's Red Skull.
I legit thought it was a Dementor when I first saw it. Sorry, we will be drinking out of her commemorative Infinity War cup with Spidey on top.
My boss lied to me. I am, calling you out. You know who you are. You told me that there wasn't any commemorative anything, and hello.
Also, popcorn tin!
Hello! I could own these, and I don't.
I want to talk about Thanos. I thought, finally, we have character development from this guy that we saw sitting on a chair and kind of really awful CG, but I think he had amazing character development in this film. He wasn't just your standard, oh, I want world domination, or I want to rule the universe, or I'm doing it because of a revenge ploy. No.
I want to save the universe.
Genocide is never the answer, as history has shown us, but he's actually really logical the way he explains his reasoning behind why he's doing what he's doing.
We did kind of learn that in, the first Avengers movie, Loki's actual job being sent there by Thanos was to murder half of Earth, and then he'd get to rule the rest of it.
I actually think he, genuinely cared for Gamora before, he evidently, killed her, but still.
I mean, how often do you see villains cry?
Thor grew immensely since Ragnarok. He took the whole entire force of a star and didn't die.
And crafted a new weapon on top of it.
He had no hammer, he has no family, he had to watch his brother get killed right in front of him after he tried to, after Loki tried to save his life and everything, so he really was a hero with nothing left to lose at that point.
He did say that only half of Asgard was, taken, and we didn't see Valkyrie anywhere, so headcanon that Valkyrie, Korg, and Meek took half of Asgard and escaped on an escape pod. Also, Drax is totally bi for Thor.
Also, Gamora liked his muscles. Quill was not happy with that. Oh, and just as a reference to our previous Marvel that we made, video that we made a while ago, I did throw some shade at Cap, just because I was still really salty over Civil War. I will give him credit in this one, though he doesn't have as much, character development in this movie just because he's not in a lot of scenes and he's not a huge main focal point. He did redeem himself when he took on Thanos in, arm-to-arm combat. So that was pretty badass of him. So, there you go. There's my love to Cap right there. You all saw it. Oh, poor Tony.
His hands were covered in ash.
Spidey does not make it out of this movie alive.
He was blown away.
The scene, just as he's dying, him and Tony, they're just clinging to each other, and then he literally dies in Tony's arms, and it's just, oh my god, the feels!
Yes, he's begging for help and saying he doesn't feel good, and
he doesn't want to go.
Wanna die, and...
Oh, I broke.
Props to Tom Holland's acting.
Is Tony's complete look of devastation afterwards. He doesn't even have to say anything. You can just feel it, and just so much regret and sorrow and loss in like just a short amount of time. It was amazing.
And Nebula's just kind of off in the background like...
When T'Challa also got blown away, Okoye's reaction and her look is just, what just happened?
My entire life just literally turned into ashes in front of me. I don't know how to cope with this.
It's like, what do you do? Oh, just, you felt it. You felt it.
It's like,
10
we know
years.
that a lot of these people are coming back, but that doesn't, you know, make the sting go away. Also, Bucky being the first one to go and being like, Steve?
And all the Infinity Stones show up in this movie. Oh hey, he's here to do things. And he did everything that he wanted to do. Which is rare for a villain.
I'm actually
Most
personally
cases.
kind of surprised that, because in the comics, the Soul Stone's supposed to be like the central gem in the gauntlet, and now it's not, and it's been replaced with the Mind Stone, and I'm kind of curious as to why they changed that, because, like, the Soul Stone is supposed to be kind of sentient and actively trying to collect souls, and here we are. Oh, it's not that important, guys. Whatever.
Apparently not.
But it's alright. Gamora's soul is trapped in the Soul Stone right now. Shh.
They also only killed off all the most recent people who
Still have movies to
literally
go
just joined.
We're essentially left with our core members and Ant-Man. Who, by the way, Hawkeye is not in this movie.
He's on house arrest.
My guess is that, like, this guy is over here, like, I am so far in retirement now, guys. I am going to just sit out on the end of the world, and the only thing that's going to drag him away from his golf at this point is the fact that probably his entire family disappeared.
I really hope Ned didn't disappear. Guy in the chair! Guy in the chair!
And he had his moment. Hey look, we're all gonna die!
Also, great cameo by Stan Lee. I don't think he should ever be allowed to operate a bus in real life. Just, you know.
The effects on certain scenes were absolute fucking garbage.
He uses big boy words.
And I'm angry about it because it was during a very touching scene, and all I could stare at the entire freaking time was Banner's head poking out of the Hulkbuster armor. I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with this image?
I had that reaction quietly about, like, the effects in when they were at the Collectors and Thanos kind of reality'd Drax and Mantis to not be alive and in pieces, and it looked kind of campy.
Like, holy shit, did they literally just kill off 2 Guardians right then and there?
Another thing that bothered me was where some of the henchmen honestly looked like World of Warcraft knockoffs. Oh look, I'm just gonna screenshot like what a dark elf looks like on this one expansion pack and just put him in a cloak or something.
Gremlin looking creature. You have your dark elf looking creature who's edgy. And then you have your hulking orc, black orc over on this side.
Legit, like, and the female henchman lady thing,
Proxima.
she sounded like she was on a radio whenever she spoke. I'm like, she sounds like she's malfunctioning. The 3 of them, honestly, I wish they had put more effort into their character design. It seemed like a throwaway.
It was also hilarious watching how powerful
Ebony Maw.
Ebony Maw. It was hilarious watching how powerful he was, especially in terms of fighting against Strange, and then getting his ass kicked by Spider-Man.
This is entirely personal for me and my preference for movie watching, but it was, in my opinion, too much action, and there wasn't enough, like, to go, like, between. It's just action, 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 action. You didn't have any time to catch your breath, and there was no, like, calm anything. Like, we could have had a tad bit more when they showed up at Wakanda, but it's like, nope, alright, we're gonna do our meeting, and then we're going to put Vision on a table, and then we're gonna go to war. Like, the only lulls we had were Thanos' flashbacks, really. And
Yeah.
I like the compositional stuff, where they're just kind of growing as characters.
It was very fast-paced.
Very fast-paced. It did not feel like it was 2.5 hours long.
It really didn't.
In that regard, it felt like, remember the climax part of The Dark Knight? It felt like that, but like half an hour longer. Or like an hour longer.
When it comes to female badassness, yes, that's a word, definitely some females overshadowed others, And yeah, I'm gonna be throwing some shade at this one right here. Black Widow for y'all. First of all, why is she blonde? That's never explained in the movie. Second of all, she has the worst lines in the movie. They're one-liners and they're thrown out so cliche and so just... I don't think anybody took any care in her character. Her fight scenes are credible. I'll give her that. But her delivery of her lines is just... When you're going up against, like, any other female, like, Scarlet Witch is a badass in this. Okoye is a badass in this. I mean, it's just... And there's, like, a fight scene with them, all three of them, and her lines are just...
bland and boring as hell.
There was not much thought put into her character, I feel, in this movie.
Did she ever string together more than 3 words at a time?
Nope.
Nope. Also, it was funny watching Banner use the Hulk Buster against the alien horde instead of going into Hulk mode.
Yeah, Banner was kind of a badass in this.
And he'd never actually used the Hulk Buster himself, so he's in there clumsily trying to fight, and he trips, and Okoye gives him shade. So it's like, despite the fact that he does not have what he sees, like, as his weapon of being, like, hulked out, he's doing it anyway, because he has to. There's no other choice. He could try and go in there and help Shuri, but he'd just be in the way.
I really liked how they kind of toned down Doctor Strange's douchebaggery that he's had in his previous role, like in his especially his own movie. He didn't think so much egotistical this time. He thought logical, and I firmly believe he has a plan for what's happening, even though he was one of the ones that got blown away.
Even before he disappeared, he said that, like, this was the way it had to be or something to that effect.
They kissed in this movie! By the way, sorry. Gamora and Star-Lord, they had a moment! And Drax ruined it, but that's just because, just good old Drax. We love Drax.
Havoc, how long have you been there?
I'm practicing the skill of being completely still and invisible to the naked eye.
Still love that scene.
If we had more friends, we could have planned this out to have someone else show up and, like, talk to him, but...
Like, hi, Drax! Oh, Mantis, you're so adorable.
You know who else kisses in this movie?
Scarlet Witch and Vision.
Yes, they do!
They do! They do. I'm pretty sure they did more than that. Oh,
they should have stayed in bed. Like, if they stayed in bed, like, nothing would have happened, obviously. That's how that works, right?
babies might have been created. They were in Edinburgh when they were attacked, and it hurt me a little bit to see that beautiful city get destroyed. I've been there and it's gorgeous, so I was like, ah.
The scene where they're kind of doing the fight was leaked, and I think there was part in the trailers. I got so hyper-fixated and obsessed with figuring out where they were that I figured out the, like, exact train station they were in, and I was kind of disappointed when in the movie they didn't say, hey, look, they're in this train station, let's go save them.
When we saw the premiere last night, there was a lot of clapping. I think people clapped like 17 times throughout the whole movie, which is really funny because epic things kept happening.
And then there was poorly timed clapping.
Yeah, you don't clap when something awful happens, and I called out that guy for doing it.
So I already scared him.
I did. I don't feel bad about it.
Someone
Show some
also
respect.
clapped when Scarlet Witch died and
Yeah.
Death Glare.
Yeah.
From me. For reasons.
Guess who's still alive? Nick Fury. Oh wait, he's not anymore.
Well, he tried.
He did get a final message out, though, before he blew away entirely.
To Captain Marvel. We have to wait until March to see where she's been since the 90s, because I'm really wondering. I'm just gonna throw it out there that essentially my emotional state through this entire movie can be summed up in, like, from the live-action Grinch when he's on the ground like, help me, I'm feeling! Except that my heart didn't grow 3 sizes. It got ripped out of my chest forcibly, thrown on the ground, and stomped on by a boot the size of the Empire State Building!
I, too, did have, like, you could definitely feel the deaths that came, especially for, like, of all of them, I think Spider-Man was the biggest hit.
He was a child.
He was a child, and he had spidey senses tingling that he was dying.
And Tony, after at the very beginning of the movie, essentially saying he wanted to start a family, like an actual family with Pepper,
Yeah.
saying he dreamed that they were expecting a son, at the end of the movie, loses the closest thing he's had to his son.
It's also kind of sad that some of the characters that got blown away didn't have that kind of scene, like, with T'Challa's death, you see Okoye, because she saw him disappear. Same thing with Spidey and Stark. You see the reaction. Unfortunately, with other characters, like Falcon, he blew away while War Machine was looking for him, but he didn't see him, so he kind of faded on his own. Same thing with Wanda, who was leaning over Vision's corpse, and then she just kind of disappears alone as well. So it's a little sad that they didn't get, like, a goodbye, in a sense.
But guys, Rocket has lost Groot twice now. With the people that did have people seeing that they were gone, it was always the people that mattered most to them.
Interesting into the two-death thing, which is we've seen Groot die twice now. Well, at least there's a gap in between his first death and this death. Whereas Vision was killed by Wanda to destroy the stone, and then was brought back by Thanos only to have his stone ripped out his forehead.
Okay, so I was getting comfy for this one.
This might take a minute, guys. Good, they're comfy. Alright, so Wanda has lost Pietro. Kind of broke it the first time. And now she's finally comfortable, finally happy again, finally not really regretting her life choices of, still being alive. She has fallen in love, and she is the only person capable of actually, saving the universe by destroying the stone, and she actually does it. She holds off Thanos while doing this, and then, breaking her own heart, she makes this choice. She succeeds, only to have Thanos bring him back just to be murdered in front of him again. He pulled out his entire frontal lobe! And then he lost all of his color, and I am not okay. Vision did have his moment. He did get to kill Corvus Glaive with his own spear. He's probably over here like, guys, you need to stop stabbing me!
Paul Bettany is very British in real life. As you can see, we all have deaths that really affected us.
And Loki's character growth, I want to touch upon that because, he's been a roller coaster throughout the MCU. And just the fact that at the end, he tried to betray his brother one last time and he failed, so he handed over the Tesseract with the Space Stone. And then he was like, I'm gonna betray you, you need a guide, right? But really, he was just trying to kill Thanos and save his brother, and it didn't work, and he ended up losing his life. And then there's the theories on the internet, like, if he's dead, why didn't his glamour keeping him not blue fade away? But I'm not going to hold my breath for him being one of the people that comes back.
I think the people that got blown away, I'm pretty sure those ones aren't final. I believe all those people are coming back. I really like the whole thing between Gamora and Nebula in this one. They actually care for each other and want to, save the other, which is a nice change. Yeah, they had their little reconciliation at the end of Guardians 2, but it's nice to see that that's sticking.
Also, that's Nebula's entire driving force now, because does she know Tony? No, she doesn't, but she's now alone on Titan with no one but Tony.
I want to know how they're gonna get off Titan.
Well, she already crashed one spaceship into Titan, and I'm sure
Technically,
there
so
might
did
be
he.
more.
So did he in Strange.
Might find another half-wrecked spaceship. Maybe Tony will take nanoparticles and make a tiny pod that the two of them will be literally like this and hating each other. I'm really interested and excited to see their interactions in the next
I want to
movie,
see.
though.
I want to see the camaraderie between those two. Apparently, Peter Quill did not know that, or I don't know if he forgot, but Missouri is a part of Earth. Tony has to remind him of that.
Maybe he wasn't old enough to know.
He was 10. Okay, I'm sorry. You should know what planet you're on at 10 years old. I just thought it was funny that Stark had to tell him that, yeah, Missouri, it's on Earth. I just really like their interaction.
Maybe he was thinking about the other Missouri in Quadrant Q.
Is that next to Contrixia?
I'm still really happy that in the Battle of Wakanda, when Rocket showed up, he actually, teamed up with Bucky, who picked him up, and they're shooting guns in a circle, and then Rocket's like, how much for the arm? Well, how much for the gun? How much for the arm?
Then
Bucky get that arm.
And then Bucky just walks away, I don't have time for this shit.
Thor has kind of had it extremely rough. Pushes him forward for basically revenge on Thanos, and then he parties up with Groot and Rocket to go off to see the dwarves so they can make him a new weapon.
I like that. I love that he can understand Groot. Apparently, they taught what Groot's language is on Asgard. It was an elective.
Yeah, it was like a side course. It's like, yeah, we taught ourselves how to speak Groot. It's like, huh. And then they go meet up with the dwarf, who is a giant version of Peter Dinklage.
I'm kind of disappointed that the two Peters were together and there was no confusion of someone yelling, Peter! And then both being like, what? Oh, other one.
They didn't do the one scene I was hoping for. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I just wanted to see both Sherlocks and both Watsons. Neither Watson was in the movie. I mean, yeah, Ross was referenced once, and we did have a lot of, you know, banter between the two Sherlocks, but I didn't get my seat, but that's okay. Maybe in the next one.
Fun fact about Stormbreaker. Stormbreaker in the comics was actually the weapon of Beta Ray Bill, who was an Easter egg in Thor Ragnarok as one of the heads on, like, the statue things. Just fun fact. No, it's true. When Thanos slaughtered Vision by ripping out his frontal lobe, that Wanda didn't, like... I was kind of hoping that the loss and the anguish and the grief and all of those negative emotions would kind of, like, kickstart her reality warping. Just the background would look like a cracked mirror or something, because so far in the MCU, she's just a telekinetic. A line that I really enjoyed and during the Battle of Wakanda when Wanda showed up and kind of pwned everything, when Okoye was like, why was she up there this whole time?
If I had to pick a favorite line, it would be from Mantis, who says that, yeah, we're here to kick names and take ass.
I liked T'Challa calling Bucky a semi-stable 100-year-old man.
When Thanos is holding Gamora captive and Quill shows up with his gun out and he's like, oh, and Thanos is like, this is the boyfriend. And then Quill refers to himself as, what was it, a Titan killing, like, prolonged booty call? Yeah, I thought that one, like, way to stick to your guns there, Quill. One last thing for Okoye, when the battle is about to start and they're looking at, like, the evil, random looking, like,
Outriders.
space dog things, as Rocket calls them, and they're attacking the barrier. When M'Baku's like, this is, like, the, like, fall of Wakanda, and then Okoye ends with just saying, is like, then it'll be the noblest fall. And you just get chills, and that's probably, like, the most epic line in the entire movie.
Highly suggested, if you haven't seen it already, what are you doing watching this video? But
Sorry.
Go watch it again. Because we probably are.
We totally are.
Yeah. We hope you enjoyed the latest installment of RADC on the Book of the Internet.
Keep us bookmarked by subscribing to our channel, liking our videos, and following us on Facebook.
And stay tuned for our next adventure.